start. Um, we have testing today by Janet Hurley, Chair of the Land Use Review Board. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Janet Hurley, Chair of the Land Use Review Board, and Pete Gill, our Executive Director, is on the screen here. Pete, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm the Executive Director for the Land Use Review Board. I've been in this position for about the past 3 years. I was previously with Norwich University before that, and before that I was with the predecessor to the Land Use Review Board, the Natural Resources Board, as a Associate General Counsel for about 8 years at that time. So with that, I can start our presentation here on our budget overview for you all. I imagine you're probably working on your budget letters to the Appropriations Committee, and we appreciate the opportunity to present to you today an overview of our budget. Excuse me, I'm just getting a little cold and didn't want to share it, so I'm on Zoom today. With that, like to work. Yeah. There we go.
Can I just ask, Ken, is there business noise like do we need that? Does that?
I can, you want me to just turn it down a little bit?
Yeah, if you could turn it down, that would be great. Thank you.
All right, give that a second. Let me know when you're set there.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Pete.
All right, great. So here's a budget overview slide. We've got about a $4.3 million budget on the general fund side, and then on the special fund of 1.5 million. The special fund is our Act 250 fund that is generated by our fees, permit application fees, sustains that fund. The general fund is comes from the property transfer tax appropriations. Make mention here real briefly on our carry forward amounts. We have about 117,000 that was carried forward. That's over a series of years that amount is accumulated. We utilize that to help with one-time temporary staff position. We have a long-term, vacancy, leave vacancy, and so we're able to fill that with that carry forward amount, and then also to adjust things under the Pay Act. And then I just wanted to put this note up front in our slide presentation, is our one request beyond the governor's recommend. We are satisfied with the governor's recommend, except for this one point where we are encouraging full general fund support for our 2 existing roving coordinator positions. These are positions that were converted to permanent positions last year for these critical district coordinator positions. These are the individuals that are taking in applications, reviewing them with the district commissions, helping to write those decisions, supporting our volunteer district commissioners in that process. They've been very critical to the work that the board does, but certainly for our overall permitting and allowing for flexibility within that program to adjust needs to where our highest workload areas are, and being able to be flexible in that way. So it's been really critical. I'll just stop to say that previously these were funded through ARPA funds, the American Rescue Plan Act funds, and were then converted, as I said, most recently, but only half of that funding was utilized for this most recent term, and the rest was general fund. Again, our request here is that the full amount for those positions be covered by general fund rather than the special fund for that other half of those positions. That would be a total of $136,000 added to our general fund appropriation. Any questions there? I went through that a little bit quickly.
And maybe just to add, Pete, to be clear, that would then reduce the special fund budget by that equivalent amount. The special
Yes.
fund revenue, yeah.
Yeah, not asking for something additional beyond our total sum there,
Right.
just a shift in resources.
Right.
Great. Let me move on to the next slide here. Okay, so this is a little bit deeper dive into the budget numbers here. You can see, I'll just work with that first chart there on the top. Just give you an overview of that. It's our budget broken down into both the personal services, that's our personnel, and then the operating expenses. As you can see there, our personal services are the ones that consume the most resources, where operating expenses are fairly slim in comparison there. You can also note the difference between the 2026 and the 2027. That's that ladder column there between the two. So just under 300,000 difference in the personal services, and then about 60,000 in the operating expenses. Just to note there that those numbers are increase a bit. The personal services are increased because of, in large part because of those two district coordinator positions that we mentioned previously, and combined with step increases that are required for personnel as well. And the operational changes are based on headcounts of an entity. And as you are aware, we have 5 new board members. We have a new attorney. We have these 2 limited service positions and my position as the executive director that have been added under Act 181 to implement those requirements. And so those headcount are those charges that are related to those operating expenses reflects those increase in staff numbers that we have. Next, I'll draw your attention to the chart below. That breaks down our budget into the general and special funds that you saw on the previous slide, but you can see the comparison between the 26 and the governor recommend in the 27. And then those notes down below, that's what I was talking about there. I see a hand.
Yes,
Yeah.
Representative North.
Thank you.
Senator?
No,
No,
Whoa.
Representative, oh, Representative.
Oh, God, it's like, what did happen?
Representative, please. Peter, thank you so much for your presentation. And I just a quick question. So I think on the previous slide, you said that the 2 new FTEs were really just a switch from the special fund to the general fund. And I'm kind of trying to figure out how that aligns.
They were switched from ARPA to permanent, and we asked for the funding to come 100% from general, but the governor's budget has them from special, half and half, special, general. And so we're just asking that it be 100%.
Okay. So the governor's budget already has the 2 FTEs.
Yes, yeah.
baked in,
Yes,
just not in proper
well,
funding source.
yeah, not in our preferred.
Preferred
Yeah.
funding source.
Yeah.
Okay. And these funding sources are kind of estimated based on what the property transfer tax will raise, or is this what
No.
you're expecting regardless of how much?
No, the special funds are estimated based on what we anticipate coming in from fees from permit applications.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Then on the general fund side, it's property transfer tax. So
it's
Yeah,
we're not making estimations though about,
Okay, you're just asking for this much.
yeah, yes.
Even though that's where it comes from.
Yes.
Oh, this one. Okay,
Yes.
but the special fund, okay, that is the source. Okay. And that's the estimated full source of the special funds.
Yes,
Yes.
so as we said, if the legislature agrees and gives 100% to the to converted ARPAs, then it would shift the general and special by 137-ish, is that right, Pete? So
that's
it'd be-
here on the slide there, 136, yeah.
Yeah, so that much less on special, but added to the general. And it's basically because we don't really know what's gonna happen with the implementation of 181 in terms of our permit revenues, so. Just
Yeah, I
helps
think we have a
with
pretty
that
good,
uncertainty to consider those from the general.
It's just for, again, for my benefit, do the numbers that are presented in this chart reflect your desire to have them all in general, or are you asking for that? To change yet to these numbers?
For this, no, does not reflect what we desire.
It does not reflect.
Yes, right, Pete? Yes.
that is correct. Yeah, it would
Yeah.
be a $136,000 difference shifted from the special fund to the general fund.
Yeah,
Okay.
this reflects the governor's budget.
Correct.
The 358 does also?
Everything on here does, yes.
Yes,
The eight's the total.
That's
That's
the total.
that's the
difference
total amount.
between Fiscal
Right.
years, yeah.
So, but the 5,897,000 won't change. It's just gonna move from one
Correct.
bucket to the other.
Correct, yes.
yeah. I
Representative
see the
Bob.
hand there.
Yeah. I'm assuming that you provided the governor with input as to what you needed for
Yeah.
funding. And this is really important work. I feel like it's laying the foundation of the future of Vermont. And I just want to make sure that I don't ever really ask for more money, but I just want to make sure this is enough to implement your work with Fidelity.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yes. We're not skimping ourselves.
Okay, good.
Um,
Because it's really,
yeah.
really important work.
Yeah. We were conservative.
Mhm.
We're not asking for more than we think we need,
Mhm.
but we're not short shrifting so far as we can tell. There is uncertainty in terms of this special fund, and that's why we're asking that these two positions be 100% from general, just to give us more, because in the past, we haven't met our special fund targets.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and on that point, historically, we have had a different balancing of our general fund and our special fund, and there was a reallocation of that in this last previous year, and that I think trues up what our special fund revenue capabilities are. And one of the points that we're trying to make with these two district coordinator positions is that in order to keep that proper balance and truing that up in the right way, it would be beneficial to have those funded through the general fund.
Predictability.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Great. Let's see, I can move on to the next slide. We've really covered the bulk of what we had to say here too on the budget, but let me move on just to a couple of orientation slides here and more reference slides for you all. I know you've seen these in our joint session that we had earlier in January, but this is kind of our organizational structure. We've got 33 permanent positions in our group. We like to think of ourselves as slim and mighty, doing lots of good work with that relatively slim crew. But it's important to note down at the bottom, we have 60 citizen plus or minus commissioners, one of whom is in the room with you today as Representative North or Senator North, sorry. So at any rate, it is a small but mighty organization there, and that's kind of our structure. Again, we've gone over some of this, but for reference, we have a very strong permitting program. We have consistently in the last 5 years been around 350 to 400 permits issued, permit decisions issued in a year. We're at 384, which is a slight uptick from last year. So although some of the interim exemptions are in place, we still do have a hefty permit decision load. And in fact, it has increased slightly from the previous year. Interesting, wonderful project that we've been working on through some funding, both ARPA funds and legislative appropriations. Most recently is digitizing our permit files. This has been an amazing project to keep our files safe. And I will pause to say that just a few weeks ago, we had a flooding event in the Montpelier district office, our main office. Fortunately, we just had 3 boxes of files that were affected by this, but we were able to lay them out. And amazingly, 3 file boxes, which is only a small handful of actual permit series numbers, can recarpet most of that building by laying them out to dry. So, it's amazing to note here, we've been dealing with 10,000 of those permit files in the scanning project currently, and many more to come. As I mentioned before, we've expanded that roving district coordinator position. We would like to keep that going strong because that is the heart of our program and really important to the continuation. Recently, we've updated our application form. That seems to be going very smoothly in terms of its rollout. As I mentioned previously, this was a project that we looked at lots of incomplete letters that are issued from the district coordinators in collaboration with the technicians to determine whether an application is ready for commissioner review. We want to make sure that that's got everything it needs to make that lay commissioner process move smoothly and the application process move smoothly from there on out. So what we've done is analyzed where those incompletes are and tried to address those deficiencies in our application to make it more clear and understandable for applicants as they're submitting their forms. We reached our 100th ARPA project, which is pretty awesome. We had a fair number of housing projects within that, but lots of other related ARPA funded projects. And we've continued to implement the governor's executive order on housing. So busy shop on the permitting front. That doesn't touch the new requirements under Act 181 and duties of the board. Those are listed here. I know we've gone through those, so I don't want to dwell on this for too long for you all, but happy to stop anywhere that you wanted to dig in a little bit more. I'll just note here that we've got 3 items there on the list that have check marks. Those are items that we've ticked off. So we did the wood products manufacturers report. We're working on some implementation and follow up on that, including some legislative recommendations. There's an Act 250 appeals study out there, and I know that's being considered by committees in the legislature at the moment. And we've created a future land use map viewer. The legislature appropriated us some funding for digital infrastructure, and this was one of those items that we were able to do with that, with those funds. And that helps the board in its review of the regional planning applications, regional planning plan review and map review. Janet, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to highlight on this. Oh, I see a few hands as well, but.
Yeah, I'll answer. Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you can update us on the tier 3 rulemaking.
Yep, there is a almost ready to come out a second draft that will be proposed to the public for input. We put out a first draft in October, took it around the state. We've been modifying it and expect to get public comment and a public hearing in the spring. And we are hoping to submit final rule to LCAR by September 30th. So we're still accepting public input. And we had asked committees of jurisdiction for that extension to September 30th so that we could do that robust engagement with the public in a way that, allowed us to hone in on what is most important on that tier 3. Yeah.
And that's really laying the foundation and stage for the public engagement that occurs in the direct rulemaking process as well.
Maybe I'll just point out that we're also working right now on road construction jurisdiction guidance. And, as much anxiety or fears around tier 3 as there are, there are just as many around this road construction jurisdiction that is slated to go into effect on July 1. So we're also working on guidance there and hope to get that out in the next couple of weeks for public comment. We are also working on the Criterion 8C rulemaking. And we are reviewing plans. So, and we also expect after the first regional plan is approved to start receiving tier 1A applications. And we're ready for that when it comes, but we don't expect that for another few months.
Thank you.
Right. Any other questions on that? Otherwise, I just have one more slide. And that one is more of a resource for you all in terms of a little bit more details on the budget and the allocation of that budget. Let me just orient you briefly on it. You can I think you can see where my cursor is under there, that first block. It's sort of an off brown color, but personal services is there, and that I don't know if you can see that in this box here. There we go. I think you can see that, but that's the personnel services that we were talking about there. The final bottom line of that is right here at the top. And then down below that is the operating expenses under that next kind of beige category there. And you can see that bottom line change over here in this upper corner here. And then the total amounts down here at the bottom. Sort of a summary of that previous slide is down in that purple and yellow at the bottom of the slide. So again, a resource there for you.
Representative Pritchard.
Yeah, thank you. So what's the total amount of classified employees?
Classified?
To the number of them.
The chart, if you go to the organizational chart, I can count them up. So
maybe
only
it might
one
be
in
easiest,
the-
Janet, to just take the exempts out.
yeah, that's what. So
So the
it's-
board and the
it's-
chair are exempts.
right, and the executive director and is
Executive
exempt.
director.
7, 8, 9, 10, or 8, 9, and 10, because one of our district coordinators is not classified yet. So, right, so 23 classified.
Yep. And on the Janet's last point there about one of the district coordinators not being classified at the moment, what we've done is to maximize the use of the federal ARPA dollars. We have continued to utilize those to fund that roving district coordinator position. And we will intend
To
is
the
to
end of this
convert
fiscal
that.
year.
Correct.
Yeah, and then it'll convert, and then we'll have 24.
And that sort of sums up our presentation, unless there's other questions.
It's like, no,
Very much, Jeff.
yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We appreciate your support in this process. It's been quite a ride for our staff, and but we are excited to be part of it, and again appreciate the legislature's support in that endeavor.
All right, keep drinking fluids, Pete.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
I feel better, Pete.
Thank you.
Right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you very
See
much.
soon, I'm sure.
Okay,